What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Right here, Bungie might have given us the most broken exotic update ever with the Gyrfalcon's Hauberk exotic chess piece for our Void Hunter here with that patch 6.1.0.3 that came out on Tuesday with the dawning. This chess piece grants void weapons volatile rounds when you exit invisibility. Pairing that with Stylus Executioner, you basically have unlimited invis as well as volatile rounds on your void weapons. Pairing it with the build I have here, it is absolutely broken for giving us overshields, for ad clear, and not too shabby for DPS for some of that end game content. So starting off right here, as always, going over our subclass with abilities, aspects, and fragments. So we're going to be using our solo shadow shot deadfall right here to trap those enemies, give us that nice debuff for a long time while doing that higher DPS. Now important here, we're going to use marksman, dodge, and triple jump with our snare bomb just for our abilities, and vortex grenade just seems like the best to pull in enemies and have the best AoE and ad clear potential. Now, most important for this build here is our two aspects and the combination of fragments that we have on. So first off, we're using Vanishing Step with that 100 mobility, so we can dodge every about 10 seconds and go invisible if we need it. But with this build and the aspect that we have right here in Stylus Executioner, we hardly need to dodge, except for we are using some mods on our armor that benefit from the dodge, but we're going to have it back pretty consistently. So Stylus Executioner right here, defeating weakened, suppressed, or volatile targets grants invisibility and true sight, so we can see where those enemies are as well. But that volatility with this chess piece, we go invisible by defeating those volatile targets, and then when we come out of invisibility, the chess piece grants us more volatile rounds. Defeat a target, boom, invisibility. Just positive infinite loop right there, and it is absolutely gnarly. After performing Stylus Executioner, your next melee also invisible weakens targets, so we have that snare bomb on with some of the abilities that we're going to have with our mods. This just pairs perfectly, and our fragments. So first off, for our fragments, we're going to use Echo of Leeching, so that melee that we just talked about over there, while we're invisible, when we have final blows, it also gives us health regen for us and our allies. This pairs into play with having Void Overshield, and for that endgame activity, survivability. Next off, we have Echo of Undermining, so our void grenades that we're going to have are also going to weaken targets, allowing us to do some higher DPS with our weapons and sharing that love to our fellow guardians. Like I said, taking it into raids, master lost sectors, master dungeons, whatever it may be. Third, we have Echo of Obscurity, so finishers grant us invisibility as well. We use this because an extra piece on our chess piece for that exotic perk also grants us some additional benefits to giving a Void Overshield to allies, as well as giving us some extra damage boost when we use finishers when we're invisible. And with this build, we are always invisible and always have volatility. I'm telling you, it's absolutely crazy. Last but not least, we have Echo of Remnants, so that vortex grenade that we have up here is going to last extra long, allowing us to keep that weakened on. And we also get that nice Stylus Executioner weakened from both the snare bomb and this, so it's just another way for us to go invisible, proccing us extra volatile rounds. Moving on to our weapons right here, you can see the Guardian is decked out in honor of the Dawning here, so we're rocking a new shader with that Dawning gear. Now we're using the Heritage with Reconstruction and Recombination in honor of it coming back in the craftable Deepstone Crypt. Hopefully we can get our 5 red borders for this soon and craft this exact role, but Reconstruction Recombo is definitely S tier for the PvE realm. Next off, we're using the Veles-X Pulse Rifle that is Void Burn, which is our seasonal ritual reward, if you will, from Gambit, Crucible, and Strikes. You can earn it via any of those pathways, and we have a very good combination of perks with Repulsor Brace and Golden Tricorn, just making this build extra crispy. So Repulsor Brace, every time we get a Void debuff target defeat, it grants an overshield, again, survivability with this build, and since we have volatility, which is a Void debuff consistently, we're basically always going to have a Void overshield as well. On top of that, we have Golden Tricorn, so final blows with this weapon grant bonus damage, and while this buff is active, grenades and melee kills of the same damage type increase its damage and duration. So it's just a nice way with the Vortex Grenade and that nice juiced melee with the Snare Bomb. When we get defeats with those, it also makes this weapon extra good with that Golden Tricorn ×2, plus Repulsor Brace giving us overshield is absolutely crazy. Last but not least, we're bringing back the Xenophage. I absolutely love this thing, and with the reworks lately, this thing is doing some pretty good damage. Feels like the old ways with how fast it's shooting. Just a perfect exotic to top off this build right here for that damage in endgame activity. Now next, moving on to our armor over here. On our headpiece, we're going to have 2 harmonic siphons, so all of those defeats that we're getting with our Veles-X Pulse Rifle are going to have the opportunity to drop orbs of power for us, allowing to get our super back faster, as well as some of the mods that we have on later for our armor. Also, we have Font of Might, so every time we pick up Void Elemental Wells, we're going to make our Veles-X Pulse Rifle do more damage. So another way that it's stacking with Golden Tricorn and the debuff of weakening enemies, so we're absolutely able to juice enemies with just our Pulse Rifle, and we have Xeno to back us up. Next, right here on our arms, we have Anti-Barrier Pulse for that endgame activity, as well as Powerful Friends and Momentum Transfer, so causing damage with that grenade reduces our melee. Just a nice way for us to get back our smoke and our abilities a little bit faster. Now on to the most broken chess piece update ever. So See Me, Feel Me, your Void weapon gain Volatile Rounds after you emerge from invisibility. While you are invisible and defeat a combatant with a finisher, all of your weapons gain bonus damage, not just Void weapons, all of them. You and your allies also gain improved overshield and ability regeneration. These reserve overshields can be deployed by using your class ability. So we're spreading Void overshield to our fellow allies when we do finishers while invisible, but also we're giving them improved class regeneration. So Titans will get that shield back faster, Warlocks will get that rift back faster, and Hunters that dodge. And when they use it, they can get the reserve of overshield applied, so they're able to stay alive pretty well in some of that crazy high density enemy endgame activity that Bungie is giving us. So this chess piece update is absolutely OP and broken, and I love using it right now in this season. Now for mods, we're going to have Reaping Wellmaker. So this is what I was talking about earlier. Activating your class ability, your next weapon Final Blow spawns us that Void Elemental Well, which is going to help us give Font of Might, which again gives us that nice damage buff to our Void weapons. So this is super clutch because we're getting our ability back very fast. And then we're going to use Concussive Dampener. So since there's a lot of explosions and concussive damage incoming in the game of Destiny, this just seemed like the best universal one to throw on instead of melee or sniper damage, something like that. Moving on to our legs right here, we got Absolution and Innovation. So reduce all ability cooldowns when we pick up an Orb of Power, and grenade ability cooldown when we pick up an Orb of Power, which we're getting a bunch of those from our double harmonic siphon up here on our helmet. We also have elemental armaments, so the chance of having Void Elemental Wells drop from Void weapon defeats is going up with this, and it's just a nice way to get Font of Might to proc on our helmet again, as well as having Reaping Wellmaker on our chest piece. So it's a good farm for getting those Void Elemental Wells. And last but not least, on our class item right here, we have Monochromatic Meister and Well of Unity. So picking up those Void Elemental Wells grants us our dodge back, so it's just another addition to the build. And then a seasonal mod, Monochromatic Meister, dealing damage with elemental abilities, grants increased damage to weapons, so we're getting a nice damage buff again to our Veles-X Pulse Rifle, and dealing damage with that Pulse Rifle then gives us damage increase to our grenade and our melee. So it's that positive infinite feedback loop of this with our Stylus Executioner, with our Phantomite, with our chest piece. It's absolutely nuts, the synergy that this has and the ability to debuff enemies with weaken, tether, that volatility, as well as do some crazy DPS with this build. Absolutely love what Bungie did with this. Helps a bunch for ad clear, and I love using it. So hopefully you guys can check this build out. Absolutely a banger, S tier for me. So I hope you guys enjoy it as well. Thank you for the continued support. Appreciate that too. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.